A gentleman named Herbert Spencer, an esteemed English philosopher and sociologist, and by the way, the man who actually coined the phrase survival of the fittest, attributed to Charles Darwin, said, "The aim of education is not knowledge, but action." Even if you know what to do and how to do it, and even have a plan to do it, without action, it's just words on a page. So today we're taking the very first Carnegie lesson, if you want to gather honey, don't kick over the beehive, and turning it into real sales muscle, turning it into action. Hello, I'm Frankie, founder of Auto Dojo, the path to excellence, and welcome to today's Auto Dojo Quick Hit. 5 minutes, 1 skill, 0 excuses. Let's go. Chapter 1 is simple, but it's brutal. Human beings are not logical machines. We are emotional, proud, and defensive. Criticism and judgment bruise pride and freeze people up. If you want cooperation, influence, and at the end of the day, a sale, stop blaming and start understanding. Carnegie's point isn't weakness, it's strategy. Criticism, judgment, or being right rarely changes behavior. Respect and empathy do. In the dealership, that means fewer "you're the problem" moments and more "help me understand" moments. It's not being soft, it's being smart and strategic. Just think about this. If we were all judged by how we showed up on the worst day of our lives at the most emotionally volatile state we could be in, none of us would have many friends, including myself. In fact, some people might call the police or try to have us committed. So think about a moment when you were really fearful or really defensive. Or maybe you felt seriously wronged by someone. Or maybe you're experiencing an extremely high amount of stress or anger. Everyone has days when fear, money stress, health worries, or grief leak into how they behave. And many of your customers are having those very feelings when they come into your car sales environment. When someone shows up prickly, defensive, or distant in the dealership, remember, you're not facing an awful person or that impossible customer. You're just meeting a human being who's carrying more than you can see. Just knowing that changes how we influence. It makes Carnegie's lesson, don't criticize or judge, understand, not just smart, but necessary. Use that line to anchor your mindset before a shift or during a challenging customer interaction. Here are some examples in your customer interactions that you have probably already experienced where you could exercise this mindset and skill. Number 1, when there's an unexpected fee or an add-on. Right at the table, the moment you sense frustration, watch your tone and body language. Be slow, calm, low volume, lean forward slightly, have a soothing tone of voice and pace. You might say something like, "Wow, I hear you. Help me understand what surprised or concerns you the most, and I'll explain and we'll get it sorted out. I'll put together a short written breakdown so you can look it over." Whatever you want. I want to make it easy for you and give you the information that you need. Why does this include the worst day rule? Well, you validate emotion immediately, which helps lower their defensiveness. You then give them a sense of control back so they don't feel quite so powerless. If you push back or try to make excuses, this increases their defensiveness. Number 2, when the objection is, "I need to think about it," or "sleep on it," or "pray about it," after presenting and you sense this hesitation that feels like they're putting you off, you could say something like, "That's totally fair. This is a big decision, and you need to make sure you have all the information you need to make the best decision for you. What information do you still need, or questions do you have that might make you feel comfortable moving forward in the process today?" Then after you say that, pause, maybe listen for some stress clues, like is it money, family, is it the commute? Then follow the process for managing objections that we went through in episode 8. Why does the worst day rule matter here? Well, think about it. Answers are a code for "I'm stressed out," or "I don't trust you," or "I'm just not convinced." Naming the concern up front reduces uncertainty and invites specifics, which help move decisions forward without coercion. Another scenario, 3, finance shock. For example, when the customer's face drops and they say, "Oh, that's way more than I thought it was going to be." Maybe they raise their voice, maybe they get silent or clam up. This is a stress or possibly a shame moment, not a logic moment. But first of all, did you miss an opportunity well before then to know what their financial expectations were? We discuss more about this in the Auto Dojo Sales Master course. Well, what's a type of response or mindset that kills the deal and blows your trust? You could say something like, "Well, that's because you picked the wrong model or the wrong options. You should have told me your budget." Yeah, that puts the blame on the customer, triggers defensiveness, and ends the rapport that you've worked so hard to build. What could be a better response? Well, you could say something like, "Well, I'm sorry that number's higher than you expected. Let me go over it again." This calms them down a little bit, but it's still a little bit reactive and a little bit passive. What could be a 10 out of 10 response that could be perfect, and when to use it? Well, immediately after you see the payment shock, before you try to fix the numbers, watch your tone of voice and your body language. Slow down. Make sure you have an even, soft voice. Take a breath. Pause before speaking. face the customer and then lean in slightly. Keep your hands uncrossed and slow your breathing and say something like, "Yeah, I can see that kind of hits you and I kind of feel that way too." If you don't mind, help me understand a couple of things. One, what number were you really hoping for each month? And two, what would that payment need to be to keep you doing the things that matter most to you, like, school, work, bills, family, those responsibilities? After you ask that question, pause and listen to what they have to say, and then mirror back what they told you in a short phrase. And you could say something like, "Okay, that blank number of dollars makes sense given the mortgage and the daycare responsibilities that you have." And you could say something like, "Okay, so I can offer two honest paths or options. Option A, we can keep this car and I can show you 3 ways to lower your monthly payment. There's one that keeps most of your features. There's one that could cut a few options to lower the payment faster, but then the other extends the term. The second option, if the payment is a deal breaker today, we can look at a different model that hits your target and perhaps consider a pre-owned vehicle. Which feels more realistic for you right now? I'll follow whichever option that you choose." Now, if they put up a wall, you could say something like, "Hey, I totally get it. Nobody likes surprises. I'm here to make it right, not to make it harder and more stressful for you. Tell me which part feels worse to you, the number itself, or is it the timing? Is it the trade-in value? Is it the numbers around the loan?" I want to try to address that first. Why to give those two paths? Well, you validate emotion first. Carnegie says people are emotional, remember? You uncover the real constraint. Is it cash flow, feature, content? Is it trust? You give this sense of control back so the customer doesn't feel cornered, but you actually keep control of the process without being controlling. That's influence, not pressure. Why this is Carnegie perfect? Well, people first, logic second. You validate the emotion and avoid criticizing or judging the reaction. Then you don't argue with feelings. Arguing or making excuses makes someone really dig in. Curiosity opens them up. Then you make the idea their choice. By giving options and asking which path feels honest, this increases their buy-in when they own it. And then finally, you build confidence for both sides. They feel heard, you control the process calmly. This moment when numbers land heavier than expected is where a lot of deals either die or get rescued. So this is kind of a make or break point. The difference isn't your Foursquare skill or digital readout explanation. It's your emotional skill or EQ. Validate them. Ask a couple of curious and clear questions, offer 2 honest paths, and give the sense of control back. That's the humane strategic version of selling. Influencing with honey without knocking over the beehive. And remember, nobody is always a difficult human. Everyone has their days. Your job as an ethical influencer is to notice when emotions driving their behavior and respond with curiosity instead of critique or judgment. That's what wins trust, and trust is the currency on the lot. Practice the worst day rule daily. That's how you sell from abundance and not desperation. So go do it now. Start to monitor and measure the following. 1, start using "help me understand" during each customer interaction and keep a record of when you use the phrase. 2, track your percentage of payment shock moments that convert into a scheduled follow-up or perhaps even a yes. Then number 3, measure average minutes from payment shock moment to a resolution and agreed next step. And based on those results, what do you notice? What do you need to improve? But what is working? Why is this important? Well, because criticism and judgment cost you trust, and trust closes deals. So replace the blame and judgment loop with curiosity, and you increase CSI, move more customers to the next step, reduce friction at delivery, and you get more referrals, all without drama. So Carnegie's real gift is that these are universal human rules. They make you a better seller, but also a better human. But remember, we're called to action. Don't just admire the idea, actually practice it. You're going to feel awkward at first and expect that. That's a sign that you're doing the reps and you're building the muscle. So keep going. Do the thing that you fear, but build a record of your small wins, no matter how small. Your clients, your family and friends, and your life will thank you. So go take action, keep the customer first, and go dominate your floor. Subscribe to receive these quick hits every week delivered directly to your inbox by scanning the QR code you see here, and I look forward to serving you in the Auto Dojo soon. To receive future episodes of the Auto Dojo Quick Hits every week, please either click the button below or scan the QR code, and we look forward to seeing you in the Auto Dojo soon.